you know, they're bitching about the fucking holiday cups. They're bitching. They're doing their little Charlie Kirk, you know, they're taking a stand and ordering Charlie Kirk's drink at Starbucks and, you know, getting the cops called on them. It's like, and then apparently they threw a fit a couple years ago because pumpkin spice lattes don't even have any pumpkin in them. Well, yeah, bitch, it's pumpkin spice. The flavor is spice that you use in pumpkin pie. It's cinnamon, it's nutmeg, it's cloves. It's one other thing that I'm fucking forgetting. What is it? It's cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves. And I think there might be another thing that I'm forgetting. But anyways, it's that. It's not supposed to have pumpkin in it. But then Starbucks actually added a little bit of pumpkin to their pumpkin spice lattes because everyone in this fucking country, their brain's so cooked by capitalism. That's the only kind of activism they know how to do is Starbucks related. And I'm just sick of it. It's like you either go to Starbucks or don't. I just don't want to hear about it anymore. For the love of God. I don't want you yelling about it on TikTok, making, you know, 10 Instagram lives, taking a stand. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, and who honestly, like, maybe I'm out of touch. No, it's the children who are around. But no, who the fuck goes to Starbucks? Like, I obviously know, like, literally millions of people go to Starbucks, but I don't fucking know any of them. Like, it just feels weird that it does seem to exist at the center of, like, yeah, cultural, political, Instagram, TikTok discourse that, like, is it just people who, like, go to Starbucks drive-through or need to use a public, like, a non-public bathroom at 3:00 in the afternoon? Like, is that people who go to Starbucks? Do you go to Starbucks?
I do not. Well, first of all, I don't drink coffee.
Oh, you don't?
No, I think coffee's gross. That's one of my,
Whoa.
I have a lot of hot takes. I think apple pie is gross. I think coffee's gross. I think beer's gross. I think wine's gross. But yeah, I think coffee's gross. Always have. Gross. I mean, you know, have I enjoyed a Frappuccino in my youth? Sure, but that's just a milkshake. And now that I'm an adult, I know better, and I might as well just drink a milkshake if I'm going to drink a milkshake. You know, I don't. But no, I don't go to Starbucks. But I do have to pee all the time, and so I used to go to Starbucks to use their bathrooms, and now they don't even fucking have public bathrooms anymore. They were like one of the only places you could go that would have an unlocked bathroom that you could just pee at, and now they're not even offering that anymore. So they're entirely useless to me. I got one of the families I babysit for gave me a $50 Starbucks gift card last year for Christmas, and I was like, okay, I don't want to be ungrateful, but this is like such an obvious regift. And I'm like, do you not know me at all? Like, you see me drinking Diet Coke, which, like, yes, shame on me. I am a BDS.
I heard you pause before you admitted to
Diet Coke. Like, Diet Coke is problematic as hell. First of all, it's on the BDS list, and I am a weak bitch. Second of all, Trump is a huge Diet Coke head. It's a great shame in the Diet Coke community. But it's like, if you know me, you know that I constantly have a Diet Coke in my hand. Why would you give me a Starbucks gift card? Have you ever seen me drinking coffee? No. So that thing has just, like, been sitting in my drawer collecting dust. I just don't get it though, because it's like, if you who goes to Starbucks because if you like coffee, my understanding is that Starbucks coffee is bad and gross anyway.
It's fucking disgusting.
Like, it's 5 million better places to get more delicious coffee. Again, I think it's all gross, so it's whatever, but that's my understanding from people who do like coffee, is that it's not even good.
It's not good. So. And you know, we throw around the term "we used to be a country" a lot. But boy, is there ever a more "we used to be a country" than you used to be able to use the bathroom at Starbucks?
Literally. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I'm never going to run for public office because I firmly believe that anyone with my politics who runs for office is engaging in self-harm behavior. But if I did run for office, the platform I would be running on is public fucking bathrooms. Public bathrooms everywhere for everyone. I'm so over it. It's like, because we don't want homeless people to be able to pee in a public bathroom, then everybody else has to fucking suffer, where it's like, I'm serious. Like, I will run my campaign on build public bathrooms and staff them and keep them clean, because we all have to pee. And like, there's nothing worse than when you're running around and you have to pee and there's nowhere you can fucking go. Yeah.
No, so as someone who drinks a lot of coffee and bubbling water and whatever the fuck, I find myself having to pee. Folks, do you ever have to pee?
Am I right?
Yeah. No, I think that's a winning platform. I just mean that sincerely. And the ironic thing of not building, public bathrooms because they don't want homeless people to use them is like homeless people are just going to pee. They're just going to pee outside on your buildings.
Absolutely. And then people act like they're monsters and animals because they pee and poop outside. It's like, okay, well, what are the options? As someone who has, popped a squat next to the fucking Colorado State Patrol building after a protest because there was nowhere to fucking pee, what are the options, guys? Like,
Welcome to the Denver Protest Podcast. It is Sunday, October 5th, 2025. Just the two of us today. I am AJ here with Constant Gardner.
Hello.
Hello. No Bug today, which means it again falls to us to do the recap. The funny thing is, even though Bug isn't here, she still mostly did the recap. So we appreciate her doing that.
To Bug.
Shout out. So the 16th Street Mall reopened after
I didn't even know it was closed.
Well, so here's the thing. The 16th Street Mall is this, it's so fucking, we talk about it a lot because it's kind of like a weird encapsulation of almost like what I feel like Denver is as a city is like, is that place open? Does anyone go there? And it's, yeah, I mean, they put in a lot of work. They were like, I think rebuilding it for like 3 fucking years. And everyone's like, well, COVID killed downtown. Is like, okay, maybe. Also, maybe cars killed downtown, which I think is really what happened.
Yeah.
But anyway, they reopened the 16th Street Mall after 3 years of digging the whole fucking thing up. And it was this whole big thing. And at the same time, there were a couple events going on down there. There was a march and a demonstration for Palestinian solidarity put on by a couple of different organizations, but I saw some pictures of it. I was not on the march myself, but I was down there at the Capitol. It looked like it was pretty well attended, and I did see a lot of people who, were pretty clearly not part of the protest, walking around 16th Street Mall holding little Palestinian flags, which I thought was actually pretty cool to see, and something that would have been very surprising, I think, pre-October 7th, or even in the immediate aftermath of October 7th, to see, these kind of like, I'm not talking shit, like whatever, like these like kind of tourist people or people just like hanging out downtown, walking around with Palestinian flags was an interesting sight to see for sure.
That's fucking awesome. I mean, it really does just show like how much public perception has shifted in the past 2 years for the better, and like it's too little too late, but still we'll take it. It is great to see normies out there waving a Palestinian flag, because there was definitely a time when that would have been considered like support for terrorism. So I'm glad that we are starting to move past that as a society.
Yeah, no, for sure. And like you said, it's too little too late. Half the people holding the flags, might have just been given a flag and they take it and they think, oh, that's a cool flag. I know I would have taken it if I didn't know what it was personally, but it's nice to see. And yeah, like I said, the march was well attended. There was lots of folks down at the Capitol doing their thing and trying to make sure that folks don't forget about the necessity for Palestinian solidarity as we come up on what is already the second anniversary of October 7th, which is pretty crazy to think about.
Yeah, 2 years of genocide. It's time for it to fucking end already. So thank you so much to everybody that organized that march and everybody that showed up, either intentionally or, unintentionally.
Sure. 100%. Also down there, the House Keys Action Network Denver, or HAND, which is a pretty good acronym. Sometimes I feel like these orgs completely whiff on their acronyms and they are unpronounceable.
Yeah.
And they make no kind of intuitive sense as to what they represent, but Hand is a good one.
Hand is a good one. We agree.
Hand's a good one. They were protesting the reopening event of the 16th Street Mall to raise awareness about the city's neglect of homeless populations and the budget cuts that are happening that no longer support those populations, while funding what I think could be described as a vanity project in the 16th Street Mall. You know, it's one of those things, because I am all for like downtown revitalization. I think it is like absolutely necessary. I think it's something that this city in particular is extremely lacking, is like a vibrant and functioning downtown. So I don't, you know, I mean, how much those things work in opposition to one another, I don't know myself, but I also do think that there is something to be said that, you know, installing, you know, LED touch boards that tell you when Applebee's is open might not be the priority over services for homeless people.
Seriously, right. Where it's like, yeah, if our budget is limited, I don't know that dumping a bunch into, I mean, and yes, downtown revitalization, but does it like 16th Street? It's like, it's for tourists, you know, like it's for tourists. It's, if you live here, you might end up there because you're going to a first date at the Lucky Strike or whatever. But that's the last time I went to 16th Street, and I was like, wow, I haven't been here in like 4 or 5 years. But it's, you know, I don't know. I'm not necessarily opposed to it, but I don't, you know, when people try to use 16th Street as like an example of like how Denver has fallen, it's like 16th Street was never like really that cool, guys. There's like a Taco Bell and a Target and a
massive fucking Target across from a Ross.
Yeah,
like, yeah, it's a weird fucking place. It's so funny you say that, because like, yeah, when I was down there, I was shocked by like, I haven't been here maybe since COVID, and if I have, it's been like 3 times.
Right,
and
you
it's like
not
to
walk through it on your way somewhere else.
Literally that, or I was coerced there by a work event like that.
Yes.
That's how I've wound up down there myself. But I mean, hey, look, I think you're right. It is more tourist-y kind of oriented, but yeah, anything that can kind of get more life within the kind of urban core of Denver, I do think is a good thing. While we do also need to devote, Jesus Christ, it's late. We need to divert more resources towards social programs. Obviously.
And it's not like homeless people like love hanging out on 16th Street. It's just like a good place for panhandling, and you could like cut down, if you want to cut down on that, you could cut down on that by like giving homeless people resources and places to go that aren't just like really shitty homeless shelters that they get kicked out of during the day anyway. Like, I don't know. That's good job, Hand. That's a good thing to protest. We appreciate that.
Yeah, that is cool. No, that is a really, and it's a cool way to kind of ride the coattails of the visibility of this reopening event, which, you know, you and I were talking about it before recording, but you were like, I didn't even know it was closed. So, you know, they didn't do a great job like publicizing it, but there, you know, there was some people out there, and it was nice out, and, you know, whatever the fuck. I was also down there. The DSA Labor Committee organized a canvas for Starbucks workers, and, you know, informing folks about the negotiations that they're in the process with. If the negotiations fall through, there will be a strike later this month or early next month. So that canvas also did happen on and around the 16th Street Mall. So to what effect? Who can know the mind of Starbucks? But yeah, those things did happen.
They happened. All right.
I don't think there's anything else for this week. Did you have anything else for this week?
No, I think that does it.
Let's take a look at the motherfucking news. So we got our blue books in the mail. This is one of the things I do love about Colorado, the blue book.
We do elections well here. You know, we were really early on the mail-in ballots and stuff, and we get our blue books, and it's great. We have time. You know, it's crazy that this is not a thing everywhere. Like, I definitely take it for granted because I've been living and voting here for so long. But I love the blue book, and I do take the time to read through it. That said, I have not really cracked this sucker open until just before we started recording. There's not a ton on the ballot, is there?
No, at the state level, there's really the two big ones are LL and MM, and they're both related to funding the Healthy Meal Program for Colorado students, Healthy School Meals for All program. And so we'll just lead with saying that we and everybody should be in support of both of these ballot measures. LL basically allows the state to retain money by the 2022 voter-approved state tax deduction limit on individuals with incomes of over $300,000 or more, and maintain those deduction limits in order to continue funding the Healthy School Meals for All program, basically saying that the state will keep money that it already is able to collect by not lowering the deductible amount for households who have income of over $300,000. So obviously, yes, favor of that. MM is a very similar and related ballot measure where it will increase income taxes on households, again, only households earning more than $300,000, to help fund the school meals and food assistance programs. And, I mean, we talk a lot about tax increases are kind of a tough sell, but I swear to God, if this stuff doesn't pass, which I think it will pass, like comfortably, it would be a disappointing outcome for these not to pass.
I haven't seen polling around it. I don't know, but I was just on like a DSA call last night where we were talking about how Colorado voters like hate paying for things. Like we like having things, we hate paying for them. It makes me a little nervous because often like anything that's viewed as like a tax increase can be a tough sell in this state. That said, like how many voters have a combined household income of 300,000 or more? I mean, it's obviously not a huge number, and I would hope that these would easily pass by comfortable margins, but you never know with this kind of libertarian ass state. You just never know. But it's, hot take, I think that children should be fed food. I know it's a controversial opinion. Children deserve to eat food when they're at a place that they're required to be at. The least we could do is feed them. And that is one of, honestly, a great thing that our state does that, is a kind of a minority of states offer this, where we just do universal free meals in our public schools. I think it's great. It's a no-brainer. And yeah, we're going to have to pick up the slack at the state level for all of these shitty budget cuts from Trump's big, ugly austerity bill that he passed. So hopefully we'll be a yes on LL and MM. But that's really the only thing we're voting on at the state level, correct?
Those are the two big ones, yeah. And, to your point about tax increases being like difficult to, I hope that the phrasing of the measures, which both explicitly indicate that households earning $300,000 or more annually would be the people who would be contributing towards these measures. And for household with combined income, or I guess solo income of over $300,000, the average change in their tax burden would be $500. Which they can afford.
They can afford it, and it's worth it to feed children. So, fingers crossed.
So if we can't get those to pass, that would be too bad. But I was going to say, I think we should take bets on what we think the margin is going to be. I do think both of these are going to pass, and I think it's going to be like 70-30.
I'm going to go 60-40.
Okay. We think they will both pass.
Yes.
Yeah.
But 60-40. I don't think it'll be 70-30, but maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm hoping, because like you were saying, like I'm literally looking at the Blue Book right now and reading this. There's like 3.4 million taxpayers in Colorado. 200,000 of those have incomes of over $300,000. So staggering amount of people will not be affected by this. Or, I mean, they will be affected in that if they have kids and they go to Colorado schools, they will get food. So that's obviously the positive of it. But
yes. I'm actually surprised it's that many. Wow, I'm poor. But yeah, I mean, the other concern too is just like who actually votes, because generally it's old people who vote, and they're not the most. Sorry, old people, you guys are not the best in terms of the things that you vote for, especially in like this I don't think voter turnout is great. Well, it's not great in general. It's especially not great in like these kind of off years where we're not, voting for a president, or like we're just voting on a ballot measure. The overall turnout will impact whether or not it passes. But like, please just vote yes on this shit. I feel like if you're listening to this podcast, you don't need to be convinced, but like, yell at your bully. I'm going to bully my Trump supporting father into voting yes for it, and you should do the same. So yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. If anyone in your life is like, I don't know, I just really want my, either horrible boss in my company or people who work at Palantir, I want them to have that $500 to spend on baby oil for their repulsive sex parties or whatever rich people do with their money. Say, okay, that's one opinion. We could also feed other people's kids with
also
it.
Feed children, so. But yeah. So fingers crossed on that. So speaking of polling that we haven't seen on those, what there were some polls. The Colorado Polling Institute did some polling.
Colorado Polling Institute, they did some polling, as their name would indicate they do, and honestly, I just pulled this from the Denver subreddit, but I thought there were some interesting things in this study that they ran. This was from a couple weeks ago. I think the top line takeaway that I had from this is that 52% of Denver voters have a favorable or very favorable opinion of socialism, compared to 48% for capitalism.
That's crazy.
And even perhaps that's that was surprising. And perhaps even more surprising is the unfavorability ratings, whereas capitalism has a 47% and socialism only has a 39% unfavorable or very unfavorable rating from this poll, which is, honestly, I was very surprised by all of those numbers.
Right. We're doing better than I thought we would be, team. That's not bad at all. I'm really surprised. It's because the boomers are getting up there, because they're like the last generation that was like really Red Scare propagandized against anything remotely to the left of Reagan. So that's good, guys. 52% Denver? How about it? It's like, okay, but then why are we voting for Mayor Mike Johnston? It's Johnston, Mike Johnston. It's why, like, okay, that doesn't really track. That doesn't really track.
Well, and so talking about the mayor, he had exactly split even favorable and unfavorable. He was 46% and 46%, which, to your point of him having a stupid name that no one can remember and always gets confused with the Speaker of the House, it's like the most like, does this guy even, what is this? Like, do we even have a mayor?
Of course, it's completely split down the middle, favorable and unfavorable, because everyone's like, wait, who is the mayor of Denver again? I actually have some hot goss about Mike Johnston that I never shared here. And that is that he went to the middle school of a middle school student who I know and am close to. I will not say more about who they are, but he did a visit to a middle school for like a PR visit, and he brought donuts, and he brought 12 donuts for 24 little girls. So what the fuck? What the fuck, Mike Johnston? Are you kidding me? You brought donuts to the children as a PR move, and you didn't even bring enough donuts for everybody to have one donut? Like, this is why we need socialism right here.
No, I was going to say, that's the most liberal approach to
Are you gonna
donut
force
distribution.
the
It's like,
children?
you can have donuts, but not everybody
Not
gets
everybody
donuts.
gets one. Merit-based donut
Some people
award.
don't deserve. They didn't work hard enough for their donuts. We want people to have donuts. Don't get us wrong, but just not all of them. Not everyone.
He bought 3 dozen donuts when he had to give 2 dozen to his donors, so the middle school girls got left out. So yeah, what the fuck, Mike
APAC took their cut.
Johnston, what the fuck? If you're gonna bring donuts to the children, bring enough donuts. Like, fire your PR people.
Denver protest podcast rule is bring enough donuts.
Bring enough donuts. Bring more donuts than you think you're gonna need. Okay, no, but there's nothing worse than going to a thing with food. You're told that there's food and there's not enough food. Okay, it's bad.
That's just like really bad constituent service.
Seriously.
It's like, why are you cheaping out on the donuts?
Yeah, how dare you cheap out on the donuts?
Do you remember during the election last year where JD Vance went into a donut shop somewhere in like fucking Ohio and he was talking to the people behind the counter and they're like, what do you want? And he's like, this is whatever makes sense. Yeah. It's like, have you ever ordered donuts before?
Right. Like, this is your first time in a donut shop? Like, the whole purpose of these stupid things
legitimately may have been
like a relatable human, and like, here you are being like, I will take 4 human chocolate donuts. I mean, donuts, whatever makes sense. Sure. Like, bro.
No, dude, literally, I was in there like, I was like, no, what do you want? And he's like, whatever you think is good. It's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Like, right. And it's like, like on everything, I have a lot. I'm like, whatever you want. Like, I want to pick every single donut from my dozen, but that's just me. That's so funny. I totally forgot about JD Vance and his fucking weird, awkward donut shop. Politicians, they're just like us, except they're literally not like us at all. They live on a completely different planet, a different universe from the rest of us who do not cheap out on donuts.
No, they really fucking, yeah. And, more shit about this polling. There's some other interesting things in here. One I think you're really going to love is that Denver police had 51% favorability.
That's 51 points too high. What the fuck? That should be at 0. We need to get those numbers down. We need to pump those numbers down. 50. I mean, that's honestly, I'm surprised it's that low, but it should be lower, guys.
Yeah, right? Kinda. Yeah. It is interesting because I do feel like that just the general response for most polled voters, like, do you like the police? I do feel like most people just kind of instinctively say yes. So I do think 51 is lower than I would have handicapped it at. But no, I knew you would love to see that they cross the threshold into majority support.
Yeah. Well, it's not, it's not, honestly, that's better than I would have. It's lower than I would have anticipated it being. So that makes me happy that people are not just like unquestioningly supporting the cops anymore. Because they suck and they're terrible. And I do wonder how much of that is related to like, oh, they don't do anything when I call about, my Karen next door complaints. But regardless, that's fine. We hate them. They suck. So I guess, yeah. Let's get those numbers down, team.
Another kind of disappointing, or I found upsetting number here, that half of polled respondents have considered leaving Denver or have left Denver or moved within Denver, I suppose, for cost of living reasons.
Yeah.
Which, that could just be like somebody like downsizing or moving to a shittier part of Denver. But this speaks to this idea that half of people who responded to this poll, they're like, yeah, I can't afford to live where I live. And that's fucked up.
Yeah. Yes, it is. I personally have considered leaving Denver due to cost of living many times, mainly because I think Denver is lame, and I don't think that I think it's way more expensive to live here than it has like any business being. But most places that I would want to live more are even more expensive than Denver. Also, my family's here, so what are you going to do? But yeah, that's not surprising. I definitely know, I know one family I used to nanny for left and moved to the Midwest because they were like, yeah, we can't buy a house here, and like we have kids and we can't like keep living in a condo. So it's either move to the Midwest and actually have like a house and a yard, or stay here in Denver and live in a condo indefinitely. And these were not like, people who are hard up that, they had me as a nanny.
I was going to say they're hiring.
Right, exactly.
Like, yeah.
They have hired help, so they're not exactly hurting. And another family that I nanny for is also considering a move to the Midwest for the same reason, because their space is just too tiny. And they have kids and they want to have more kids, and it's just not sustainable. And they're both attorneys. So it's like, if these people who can afford hired help, people who are attorneys and engineers and such, are having to leave Denver because it's not affordable, what the fuck are the rest of us supposed to do? It's a cost of living crisis.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like that's the only thing that, or it's crazy that that's not the only thing that's screamed about all the time, that people literally are going into credit card debt to buy groceries.
Yes.
Like, that's fucking insane.
Right.
And
the
feels
rent is
deeply unsustainable.
Too damn high. The rent is too damn high. Like, my rent goes up every fucking year. I'm making more money than I've ever made, and still struggling and paying more in rent than I've ever paid for the smallest place that I've ever lived in. So, it's just, it's untenable. And I think everybody is feeling the squeeze, except, Jared Polis and his friends. They're doing great. But the rest of us are struggling. So that's, I'm a little surprised that number isn't higher, but yeah.
Yeah, no, it's fucked. And yeah, like you said, they live in worlds that are unrecognizable to your own lived experience, to the point where they may as well not live on the same planet.
Yep.
Like, it's, yeah. We say all the time, the rich are different than you and I. We also had the most major issue, according to this poll. 44% said homelessness is the most major issue, followed by 30% for affordable housing. And again, that just speaks to, like, it's the fact that it's not 97% for affordable housing. And I say that, somewhat jokingly, but like, that to me is like, if people literally can't afford to shelter themselves and buy fucking groceries, that to me feels like the kind of core societal failing and conflict that I'm surprised it's not a bigger issue.
Homelessness and housing, homelessness and cost of living, affordable housing, like, those are two sides of the same coin. Despite the fact, how many people like to tell themselves that, being homeless is some kind of moral failing, that only happens to bad people. The fact is, the more, the less affordable housing becomes, the more people that will end up homeless on the street, or, living on the streets, not the only kind of homelessness. There's also doing, van life, which we have sort of repackaged as, a cool, trendy thing to do. But that's technically homelessness. It's a better situation than being in a shelter. But, if you have to live in a van, down by the river, as Chris Farley would say, like, that's, that is also homelessness. Or if you have to couch surf and sleep on your friends and family's couches because you can't afford rent, like, that is homelessness too. It's a less visible type of homelessness, but it still is. And it's probably going to get worse. Sorry to be a doomer about it, but yeah. That's, now that I'm reading this, I'm like, I think I took this poll, because I get those little texts. I get poll texts, and I feel like I took this poll, and I think I said
so
homelessness.
You're the reason why DPD is 51%.
Oh,
it was at 50, and then that's why.
Right, that. Yes, you know it.
That's funny though.
Yeah.
Good for you for taking polls when asked. I wish people asked me more to take polls. No one cares
about your opinion.
Yeah, no one cares about my opinion. The one thing that I found really interesting about this, one of the other things, is that on the poll that was done last year, in terms of what the most significant issue is, 24% said illegal immigration. And that has fallen to 9% on this poll. And I really do think that so much of that has to do with the fact that it was an election year and both major political parties were stoking the fires of your city is being besieged by illegal immigrants and you need to be terrified of it.
Yep.
So
yeah, no, it's true, because people are just whatever the fucking news tells them is the problem, they will interpret as a problem. Yeah, that is interesting though, to see that lower.
Yeah, substantially lower too, because I don't know, but I don't think that immigrant arrivals in Denver have fallen substantially since last year. I mean, again, I have no idea, but I really do think it's just one of those things where, like, there's always this talk about like migrant every 4 years, or I guess every 2 years, there's like migrant caravans,
right.
coming, and it's like, yeah,
they're
and
coming
then all of a sudden
wash
they're not.
all of our windshields. Like, okay, I don't. Yeah, they're not. Yeah, that's a whole other can of worms. But I'm glad people have maybe calmed down about it, or like maybe that has something to do with the ramifications of, maybe people are not in favor of some of the ICE actions. Who knows? I don't even want to try to speculate on why people say the things that they say. But yeah, what are some other? Okay, what is this East Colfax thing?
So the East Colfax bus rapid transit system, which they are in the process of doing, which is very near and dear to my heart because I live and work very close to it. They're digging up all of East Colfax and they're putting in basically like express bus lanes. And this is apparently one of the more tightly contested questions on the poll. 39% in favor, 38% opposed. I think there are fair reasons to oppose it. I don't think they're the reasons that I am opposed to it, because I wish they were doing more and I wish they were fucking streetcars.
Yeah.
But I think that, people are like, it's hurting the businesses because of the construction, which, yeah, okay, I can hear that. Or they're like, I'm only going to have one lane to drive my car. And that one I don't have any fucking time for, because it's like the way to reduce traffic congestion is to put in more public transit, not just like build more wider lanes that will then be filled with more cars.
Exactly.
So,
indefinitely, until our whole city is just road. Like, it's not tenable. And it's not like driving on Colfax is fun, like if you, the biggest, to me, a lot of the biggest barrier to using public transit is that it's not convenient and it takes forever. So it's like, I'd like to use it, but I don't really want to take like 3 to 4 times as long to get somewhere. But like, there are places that have really robust public transit, like New York, where it's like, it's actually faster to take the subway most time. I mean, assuming the trains are not fucked, but in theory, it's often faster to take the subway than it is to like take an Uber or whatever. And like, that's what you have to do to get people to use public transit, is like make it convenient, make it accessible, make it affordable, make it fast. So yeah, agreed. Buses would not be my first choice, but like anything that we can do to increase convenience of public transit, and increase ridership seems like a good thing. So
I agree.
So get over it.
I agree 100%.
Bus haters.
And yeah, it's the polling also asked a question about public transit, and 53% of people said that the biggest issue with Denver's public transit is that, quote, it fucking sucks. No, they said that there's too little public transit within walking distance, which, yeah, dude, there's just not enough of it. And like, this is like a deep, like, ingrained issue with not only Denver but so many cities across this country. That's, we can ameliorate it, but it's never going to be totally solved, I don't think. But there's just too much fucking land. This country's too big.
Yeah.
But I do think that there's like you said, I think that there is a lot of appetite for people who would love to use it. I know I greatly prefer it whenever given the option to driving, but that's just me. I don't know. So
for sure.
And on the other public transit question, and this one just makes me mad personally, 28% of people said we have too many bike lanes.
For God's sake.
It's like, we don't even have that many bike lanes.
No, we do not. No, we do not have. Right. Lord, people are so car brained. It's just out of control. And, you know, I say that as someone who drives everywhere, you know, but like we need to settle down. Like, are the bike lanes sort of annoying sometimes? Sure. But like, we live in a society, so get over it. Okay, it's good. People taking their bike more often is good. People being able to ride their bike without having to worry so much about getting run over is good. Stop being so car-brained.
Stop being so, and it's also, it works out for the people who drive cars too. Like, this is the thing that drives me crazy. Is like, if there are more bike lanes and more people using bikes, those are less people in their fucking cars. So your car has more room to be a car.
It's true. It's true.
And like, yeah, this, like, our conception of a bike lane is in many cases literally a picture of a bike painted on a road, which is not a bike lane.
Right.
That's just a picture of a bike on a road. Where the cars are still.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah.
Grow up, people. Get over it.
Yeah. The last one that I think is interesting here, and I think this speaks to kind of one of my personal gripes with people, like conservatives in general. 70% of people who identify as either Republican or conservative do not feel safe in Denver. That is far and away the highest demographic. And I think this kind of, we talk about this a lot, but like one of the core identifying principles of like modern American conservatism is both deeply hating and being terrified of the existence of people that you don't personally know. And I fucking hate them for that.
It's so weird. I have a real problem with this concept of feeling safe. It's like there's a
now we're talking
type of white person, and like they prioritize their own feeling of safety, where it's like, bro, because we've dealt with this in my community garden, right? Where it's like, well, you know, if people don't feel safe, it's like, okay, well, that's an entirely subjective concept. And like, what, you know, some people don't feel safe because there are Black people or gay people around. Do we need to worry about whether or not those people feel safe? No. It's like, are you safe? Are you objectively safe? Are you getting assaulted? Are you getting robbed? Is your shit getting fucking broken into? No? Then I don't really care if you feel safe or not. That's something to work through with a therapist. That's not my problem. That's not something politics needs to be solving, is like helping people feel better about their personal safety. I just do not care. I think it's one thing if you're like, objectively, I live in an unsafe place. You know, if people are, you know, if you have to worry about being assaulted, fine, then you are unsafe. Or, you know, but it's like so many people, because I've said this before, but like I am Colfax adjacent, and like I feel perfectly safe in my neighborhood despite the fact that there are like homeless people and drug users around. It's fine. I'm fine. Everything is fine. Calm the fuck down. That's my take. I don't care if you feel safe. Get over it. Fucking sack up. You guys are such whiny little babies.
You're so fucking right about all of that. And this is like the most frustrating, or one of the really frustrating things about this is there's this kind of like, you know, very simple reading of it, but it's like, you know, conservatives and Republicans are the tough guys and all the Democrats are like wimps and they just want everyone to feel like their feelings and be coddled and nanny state all the time. It's like, no. It's like you're saying, like people who are obsessed with using their claims to quote unquote feeling safe as a weapon or as a cudgel to cultivate their space around them and make everyone else's lives fucking miserable. It's like the Do Better Denver people are exactly like that kind of attitude, right?
Very I don't feel safe energy, where it's like homeless people existing around you is not actually a safety threat, okay? Like, Jesus.
It's literal pearl clutching. Like they're literally clutching pearls in these instances.
Like, no, and that really is true, where it's like you guys are the snowflakes. You guys are the whiny babies here who are like, I saw a Black person. I'm terrified. I fear for my life. Like, just stay in Highlands Ranch then. No one cares.
Please, God. Stay in Douglas County and eventually secede and take everything below you down to Pueblo with you, and we'll all be fine. Yeah, no, fuck them. It's like I can imagine in a different time, in a different place, people being like, yeah, I just felt like I was at a public pool and some black people jumped in and it was very unhygienic. I didn't feel clean.
Right. Exactly.
Like, we don't need to cultivate for your racist level of cleanliness or security.
Your subjective feelings of cleanliness or safety or whatever the fuck ever, dog whistle that you're using to be bigoted or racist or, whatever, anti-human. Okay, we're sick of it. Get over it.
Anti-human, anti-social in the literal sense.
Yeah.
Type beat. So yeah, that was the polling. That was interesting. I thought that there was some good stuff, some bad stuff. I think on the whole, positive. I was kind of happy with especially that favorability rating and unfavorability rating of socialism, capitalism.
Yeah. All right, we're coming around here, people. Coming around. Mayor Mike Johnston, he of the Too Few Donuts, he was talking at the Denver Art Museum about AI, or some AI symposium or something. Governor Jared Polis was there. He was wearing these really stupid glasses. But yeah, Mayor Johnston was making a point about how he wants Denver to be, again, it's like whatever the fuck, like a thought leader in AI. And we want to be the first city to have all AI, whatever the fuck. There's this AI, well, this is going to make you happy. The police department uses this AI powered surveillance system called Flock to track license plates and shit like that. Nope. Don't like that. Don't like that at all. No, I heard about that. And they're like sharing that fucking shit with ICE and then saying that they're not sharing that shit with ICE and whatever. It's all bad. That's the thing, is like all this AI shit, they're just using it to fucking surveil us, and they're using it for their fucking, carceral state bullshit, and we have to fucking reject it.
Yeah, it's this implementation of AI is the very dark use case of it. It's reprehensible on that front. And there's kind of more quotidian shit, but this idea that while the city of Denver is in the process of laying off city workers, and again, I mean, this is not going to stop happening. Like, it's fucking start breaking the spinning looms. Like, it's not going to stop. But like, yeah, downsizing, replacing city workers wherever possible with different AI platforms. I don't know if you've seen this when you like interface with the city of Denver, but like their chatbot Sunny, we all have to get used to Sunny being our kind of new god as it runs the city of Denver.
I won't do it. I do not. Down with the clankers. Down with Sunny.
Acid bath the servers, man.
Yes, whatever you need to do. I don't want Sunny. I don't want AI chatbots. I want a human person. I'm very boomer. I'm very Luddite on this shit, dude. I want a human person helping me, not a stupid clanker. I stand by it.
I think you just hurt Sunny's feelings. There's a chance that he's listening to this.
I know. It's like Rocco's Basilisk, dude. He's going to fucking come for me. It'll be too late, and it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, Sunny, the City of Denver AI chatbot, will exterminate everybody who did not help him come into existence.
And that's fine. All right, just make it quick, dude. Make it quick. I'll live here anyway. Lord.
Yeah. We haven't done Wolf Corner in a second. This is going to be our quick Wolf Corner. There's a special Wolf license plate, which is apparently of the more than like 100 Vandy plates, one of the top 10 selling. And the money from the Wolf plates goes directly into the Wolf's pockets so they can hunt more cattle.
Yes.
Yeah, and we're obviously in favor of that.
Directly into the wolf's pocket.
The wolves are funded by it, and they're very frugal spenders. No, it goes to Colorado Parks and Wildlife, which I think we all think is great. And it does actually go to help like mitigating predation by the wolves of livestock, which, we joke about that a lot, and I do stand by a lot of what we've said about ranchers and their bitching and moaning. I don't, I'm not out here being like, it's awesome when cows get eaten. So if we could prevent that while also having wolves, all the better. So if you are in the market for a new license plate, get the wolf license plate today.
I don't know if you've seen it, but it's dope. It is a dope one.
It's pretty cool. No, it rocks. Yeah, it's a good license plate.
I personally have the Adopt a Shelter Pet vanity plate. For those keeping track, this is another way of me doxing myself and my car.
And that plate number is...
But I'm not, and I'm gonna keep that, because the money from that goes to animal shelters, which is very near and dear to my heart. But I'm not gonna lie, when I saw that wolf one, I was like, oh, I kind of want that one. It's a really good one. So yes, support our wolf brethren with your... Yeah, and it's so much cooler than this. The plain black one is lame, you guys. I just want to say it's lame, and you're lame if you got it, and you should get the wolf one instead. Okay?
What is the plain black? What is the plain black one for? Do you know?
It's for people who like want to be cool and think that they're cool, and they're not. I don't know that it goes to anything. It doesn't say anything. It's just like solid black. I think people think it looks sleek. No, they're wrong. Okay, these are the choices. You either get the regular Colorado one with the green and the white with the mountains. Okay, you get Adopt a Shelter Pet, or you get the wolf one. Those are the choices. All the other ones are kind of whack. Okay,
mandate. Yeah,
that out there.
State mandated.
Yeah,
agreed.
That's my official position. Okay, but yeah, we love the wolves, and we love giving them our money.
We do. If a wolf came in right now, I would give him money. If a wolf asked for money, I would give him money. The rounding out the state portion of the news, the Colorado GOP Republican primaries are underway. There's 20 people running for it. I say running for it. I don't think any of them are actually seriously running it, because there hasn't been a Republican governor in like 20 fucking years, and it doesn't seem like there's going to be anytime soon.
No, it's a joke primary.
Again, it's very much a joke primary. But I'm willing to bet that they're all bad. I all have bad opinions about most things. On the national front, I don't know if anyone's noticed, but there is no more government.
Yep, it's gone.
It is shut down.
Shut it down.
Whatever will we do?
In all seriousness, it's bad. It's not cool. There are, the Denver has the largest concentration of federal employees outside of DC. So this hits us pretty hard locally. All these people are furloughed. So the lucky ones are furloughed and don't have to work, but some of them are deemed essential, and so they have to work without pay. And like in theory, they're supposed to get back pay or whatever when the government is not shut down anymore. But this is, kind of all part of the Project 2025 roadmap thing, where it was like, it's uncertain. It seems like it's like Trump would like to keep the government shut down for as long as possible. He can blame Democrats for that, and then they can, just basically slash all of these services and functions that the government does, because the government is like real shitty things like ICE, and we don't, they're having to work without pay, which is like a little, silver lining on like the shit cloud of the shutdown. But there's things like the FDA, which like tests our food to make sure that we don't all get listeria. And FEMA, and all the VA. I mean, there's all kinds of services that like we actually need the government to provide. So it sucks really bad for government employees, most of whom are like working class people who can't afford to go without their paycheck. So yeah, it's bad.
No, for sure. I was being glib about whatever will we do, but it's bad, and I don't know. This to me feels like, I remember when it was shut down, or was going to be shut down during, I think it was Obama's second term, sometime around then. But I remember, because I was like, wait, what does that even mean for the government to be shut down? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And then, but I'd never heard of that before, and now it feels like every 3 years. This is just something that happens.
Yeah, it's a constant.
It feels like it's
so fucking unserious, dude. It's just ridiculous. Like, it's fucking fuck-ass government. Just never, it's such a fucking joke. and it does have real consequences for people, both the workers and the people. So, who knows? But that's, I'm not an economist, but it seems like when, hundreds of thousands of people are going without pay, that's probably bad for the economy. Something tells me that's bad. Our economy relies on people spending money. So when they don't have money to spend, it's not great. So.
No, it's not great. But the government shutdown has not stopped our good friends in immigration and customs enforcement from invading and occupying Chicago like it's fucking Fallujah.
Absolutely insane shit where it's like, I don't think that people are freaking out enough about this shit in Chicago. They basically did like a military style operation where they rappelled down an apartment. So I'm reading this from a Time magazine.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Time.com. 1 a.m. on Tuesday morning, armed federal agents rappelled from helicopters onto the roof of a 5-story residential apartment in the South Shore of Chicago. The agents worked their way through the building, kicking down doors and throwing flashbang grenades, rounding up adults and screaming children alike, detaining them in zip ties and arresting dozens, according to witnesses and local reporting. So... yeah, and
that's fucking crazy.
Absolutely.
That's like fucking, like, it's been crazy, but like that's fucking crazy.
It's some real next level shit, and like Trump has, there is National Guard in Portland. I feel like part of the reason Denver hasn't been on the list is partly because Polis has kind of been like laying low and playing nice, whereas like Pritzker has been who's the governor of Illinois, has been like pretty vocally opposed. I mean, we're not going to call it a rare Polis W because fuck Jared Polis and everything he does and everything he stands for. But I do worry. I mean, Denver is definitely, I think we'll end up in the crosshairs sooner rather than later. We're just like a small and kind of forgotten. But I do anticipate them, rolling it out at some point. And I mean, I think that, the protests have been, in Chicago have been pretty robust. And I do see this personally as like the government and Trump really testing, like, how much can they get away with? Like, can they do this shit where they're rappelling down a fucking residential apartment building and zip tying children at 1 o'clock in the morning? Like, are American citizens going to stand for this? So like, this is a critical moment, people, where like we can't stand for it. And if we don't put up like a very strong resistance to it, like it's going to escalate and it's going to continue. And it's very, very, we deal with like a lot of shock and awe from this administration. They're doing something horrible every day. But like, this is, one of the, might be the worst thing that's happened since he came into office, which I know is saying a lot, but I do think doing like a flashbang fucking shock and awe operation on a residential apartment building in the US is pretty fucking bad. So
yeah, definitely on the domestic front at a minimum.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
No, we do horrific shit in other countries all day, every day, but there is something to, be said for the ye old imperial boomerang swinging on back. Imperial core here. And
who could have thought? If only someone had written
who could have
thousands
predicted?
of books about this.
Yeah,
it's, you really have to see one battle after another.
I'm going to. I need to.
Yeah, it's super. Yeah, it's related. Not to trivialize it by comparing it to. And I have a lot of kind of conflicting opinions about that movie specifically, but it is crazy how much this hyper militarized I don't know moment is happening. Like it's it could happen here / now it is kind of happening here.
Yep.
So, but look, I don't want to. This has been a little bit of a negative portion of the episode. Barron Trump brought home a girl.
Who, folks? A lot of people said couldn't be done. A lot of people said Barron Trump, this is a total loser. It's fucking going to school at NYU. A lot of people said that he had no game, but he's got the riz. Okay, he's got the juice. He brought home a girl
This
to his
was a
apartment.
headline. This was a headline, and I honestly thought this was fake when I saw it. I really did. I was like, okay, that's a pretty good mock-up. But this is what Fox News this is what Fox News was talking about the same week that all of the shit that we just talked about happened. They were talking about Barron Trump bringing a girl home. Like, it's too funny to conceptualize.
Yeah.
It's beyond parody. It is so deeply beyond anything that you could even make a fucking joke about.
Yeah, and they were literally on the Fox News segment. They were like debating and, having a discourse about whether or not he had sex with her, which is like, dog, like, what are we doing here? And like,
yeah, and like, what even like is okay? So we know he brought a girl home, so he probably got to second base. Did he go all the way?
Right. More details.
Greg Gutfeld.
I love it.
It's like, yeah.
Here's Brian Kill Myself to fucking weigh in.
I wonder. Not that I feel bad for the girl necessarily, but
I do.
Wouldn't you feel fucking weird where you like hook up with? What if she didn't even know who he was? He's like, oh, look at that really tall, possibly autistic guy playing with a fidget spinner, and then she wakes up and it's like, oh fuck. I'm on Fox News.
Right. Seriously, right? That, those humiliating college hookups. I mean, whomst among us has not woken up and been like, oh, okay, yikes. Gonna go ahead and head out. And then the accidental hookup was Barron Trump.
Was Barron Trump.
Like, dude, that's fucking rough. But yeah, a lot of people said couldn't be done. Barron Trump.
I just want to express our heartfelt congratulations to Barron Trump for bringing a girl home from a college party. That
I don't know why the fuck that kid would go to NYU of all schools.
I know. It doesn't really seem like.
I mean, he probably just wants to stay in New York and couldn't get into Columbia, so.
Yeah.
NYU.
Well, at least somebody had a good week.
Yeah.
Barron Trump had a good week.
The only one.
Bad week, bad news. The Gaza Flotilla.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't actually. Yes. Good news, bad news. I've cried tears of sorrow. I've cried tears of joy over the Gaza Flotilla. The global Samud Flotilla, which, by the way, Samud is Arabic for steadfastness. I'm not gonna lie. I do think that this is like the most beautiful, significant humanitarian action launched by civilians in my lifetime. It was really a really big deal, and it's crazy that it did not get more coverage than it got. There were, I believe, 45 boats, people from over 50 countries, hundreds of people who, undertook this mission that was pretty much destined to fail, loaded up these boats. And it's the thing about the boats were like pretty ragtag, because the thing is if you volunteer your boat for this, like, you're not getting your boat back. Like, the Israelis are going to take your boat and colonize it, like they do, throw like a shitty fucking rave with bad Israeli EDM on it. But yeah, so that's part of the reason that the boats were like, pretty raggedy. But they were stopping all over the Mediterranean, running into some issues. There were the Spanish Navy and the Italian Navy both provided escort, but of course they dipped out like little bitches as soon as they got like within a certain range of Gaza territorial waters. And it should be noted that even though the Israelis are trying to say that like these are their waters, legally these are not Israeli waters. They're in international waters, and it's Gaza. Like, Gaza is not fucking Israel, despite what the Israelis would like us all to believe. It's not. They are the ones who are illegally blockading waters that are not theirs. And so the boats were they were harassed by drones like night after night after night. The people that were on them, one of them was interviewed on the TrueAnon podcast. As you know, this podcast is a 2/3 a TrueAnon fan podcast, and then Bug, who is like, I'm confused and out. But it sounded like pretty amazing. But they were, the Israelis were doing what they do and engaging in all kinds of like psychological torture and warfare. Including so Greta Thunberg, who is like the most based individual of her generation. She's such a bad bitch. She was on the smaller flotilla to Gaza back in May, and the Israelis apprehended her and threw her in jail and deported her and said if she ever comes back, they're going to like send her to prison forever. And here she is back on another boat, a few months later. So they were like targeting her in particular and like playing a bunch of ABBA, I guess, like taking over their radio channels and playing ABBA, which like I get because she's like Swedish, I guess. I'm like, you guys are so lame and so bad at this. Yes, Israel took over. Yes. Yeah, to like fuck with Greta Thunberg because she's Swedish, I guess. Okay. I know. I mean, right? Like, okay, thanks for like the sweet, like gay friendly tunes, guys, whatever. But so most of the boats got intercepted. They got pretty close, but they got intercepted predictably. But there was one boat called either the Mykonos, I'm not really sure how to say it. I think it's Mykonos. It was, I believe the captain was Greek. And so there's some disputed reports about this. I don't know if more information has come out, but basically the flotilla tracker indicated that the Mykonos had gotten closer to Gaza than any other ship has since like maybe 2005, because people have been trying to do these flotillas for a long time to like bring aid into Gaza. So this boat basically did what it sounds like some like dope Pirates of the Caribbean style maneuvering. It's a sailboat, and the dude managed to like get through the Israeli blockade, which is just like so incredible, gives me chills. And he got within like 9 miles off the coast of Gaza so that the Gazans could actually see him from the shore. And they were just so fucking excited and, crying and praying, because for them, they've been trapped in this fucking open air prison their entire lives. They can't leave and nobody else can really come in. So like even though the flotilla didn't make it and they didn't get any of the supplies, and the Israelis dumped a bunch of baby formula into the fucking sea because they're goddamn fucking ghouls who should all be on trial at The Hague, hopefully when all of this is over. Even though they didn't make it, just the fact that people had tried and gotten close enough was like, it meant so much to the people in Gaza. And I saw a video of them, that they had taken a video of the boat from the shore, and were just elated about it. And yeah, I definitely sobbed when I saw that. And so but so the thing is it's disputed whether the Mykonos got through. The Israelis say that it didn't, which would lead me to believe that it absolutely did. Generally, if the Israelis say something, you can assume that the opposite is probably true. They also tried one of their shitty little fucking dog shit propaganda videos where they like went on one of the ships and said, oh, look, there's no aid on it. And then people pointed out that it wasn't even actually one of the ships. We all saw the aid getting loaded on. So whatever, it's like if there's no food and supplies on it, it's because you fucks threw it into the ocean. And then they were like, oh, look, there's margarita machines and condom wrappers. It's like, oh, so you want us to believe that like hundreds of people from all over the globe all flew in to get on these shitty boats so that they could like have a sex and margarita party? Like, fuck you. You guys are suck at this. You're fucking, that's my favorite tweet about it was like their propaganda budget must be running thin because they didn't even plant any Mein Kampfs this time. They really have to plant a Mein Kampf. So yes, it failed in its stated mission of getting aid to people in Gaza, but it did show them that like people all over the world cared enough to desperately try to get them the aid. And a really amazing unintended consequence was these 45 boats stretched the capacity of the Israeli Navy so much that they were not able to patrol the waters around Gaza like they normally do. So normally Gazans are not allowed to fish in the water off of their own land. And if they do, they will be gunned down by the ghoulish Israelis. But since all of the boats that would normally be gunning them down were busy with the flotilla. A bunch of fishermen in Gaza were actually able to fish for the first time, and they were able to haul in nets and nets and nets full of fish to feed the starving people there. So little baby win. They beat the shit out of Greta Thunberg and made her kiss the Israeli flag, I guess. I don't know.
That's what I heard. I mean, yeah, I think I saw that stuff about the fishing thing too. That to me does I don't know. I feel like the Israelis probably have the capacity to do whatever they want there. It strikes me as, I don't know. I saw that as like, I don't know. But yeah, I heard that that she was being made to kiss the Israeli flag, which, like you said, like I would not put anything past, that entity, however we want to describe it. But yeah, that like you said, their budget is running low, and I hope that they know everybody hates them, and making Greta kiss the flag is not going to make anyone like them anymore.
Yeah, they're definitely losing the propaganda war. I mean, so that's the thing, is like they want us to believe that their military is like all powerful, and that, I don't know, that seems to be the consensus, is that like that's something that surprised people, is like how stretched thin they were by the flotilla. And people who know about the Israeli military said that it is a very, very air focused. Like they have like planes for days, but they are not super strong with the Navy. Like it's not like a very like naval heavy military. It's very much more like an Air Force heavy military.
I just wonder where they get all the money for this stuff.
From our tax dollars is where. From our tax dollars.
No.
It's,
someone should stop that.
It really is just gross that like it takes a ragtag group of civilians from all over the world to try to like bring some supplies in. And I wish that even one country on this fucking planet that has a decent Navy would grow a pair and just roll some fucking aid in and dare Israel to fire on them. I truly wish that they would do that. It looked like the Italians and the Spanish were maybe thinking about, I'm not saying like, oh, they should go fire on the Israelis, but just go in there with the aid and be like, if you want to fire on us, then, I guess start World War III, but otherwise we're going to drop off this fucking aid, whether you like it or not, because we know that the aid is not getting in there otherwise. But like the Italians are better than us, guys. They, in response to all of this, they've like shut down their country. They've shut down the docks. They're having huge protests like all over Europe. And it would be cool if our labor was organized in a way that we would do that kind of based shit. I wish that we could.
That would be cool. I love the idea of shutting down docks. That to me is just like such like an old school like labor action.
Yep.
Like listen, I saw on the waterfront. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, let 1,000 USS Liberties bloom. Like, fucking dare them to, yeah.
Yeah.
You said it.
I would like to. And also, they came out with like a peace plan or something. Donald Trump's plan for peace in the Middle East.
Yeah, that sounds good.
But Hamas said, okay, cool, we'll release all the hostages. Like, we're down for the agreement, which is very smart political maneuvering on their part, because we all know it's not really about the hostages, and that the Israelis just want to ethnically cleanse Gaza, and they've been using the hostages as, pawns and as an excuse. But that's so I feel like that's like calling their bluff a little bit by agreeing to it. And I also feel like they're kind of flattering Trump a little bit by being like, oh, it was a great plan, we loved it. That shit works on him,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So we'll see what happens with the 20-point peace plan. But Trump, he's we'll see. He's not a rational actor, so
say what you want about the man, he is not that. How much I feel like somebody told him what Woodrow Wilson's 14 points were at some point, and he was like, all right, I just have to make more points than him. I want a 20-point plan.
20 points. That's the best point.
am legitimately willing to bet that was part of his calculus.
Big, beautiful points. Woodrow Wilson could never.
Woodrow Wilson could never.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, no, so I think that was our news of the week, mixed bag as ever. We obviously support the efforts of everybody involved in the flotilla, and we are deeply antagonistic towards both Israel and ICE and so many other things in this great, big, beautiful world. But we're all very happy that Baron Trump brought a girl
Let's
home.
not lose sight of the fact that Baron Trump may have gotten laid. Okay?
He may have gotten laid.
Man.
What do we got coming up?
Let's see. So we've got no concentration camps in Colorado. Our friend Dorian, friend of the show.
Shout out.
They are organizing a protest this Saturday, the 11th at 10:30 a.m. outside the Hudson Correctional Facility in Hudson, Colorado. It is organized by the No Concentration Camps in Colorado coalition member, the Colorado Immigrant Protection Teams. Reminder, Hudson is really only like a 30-minute drive outside of Denver. It's not that far. So that's like a great action to support if you hate ICE, which you should. We also have the ongoing Fox takedown. And they're protesting the Nexstar merger, which is, claiming Kyle Clark's job. Still open invitation, Kyle Clark, to come join the Denver Protest podcast if you want to.
I mean, I don't know. We've had 4 interviews at this point, so he might have to apply.
Yeah, that's fair. We don't want him to get ahead of himself.
Yeah.
Those Fox takedowns are Saturdays at 1 p.m. at 100 Spear Boulevard. CD7 Watermelon is organizing a walk in solidarity with Gazans being repeatedly displaced by the genocide. It's going to be this Saturday, October 11th. Time and route are to TBA, so keep your eye on the subreddit and the Discord for that. Hopefully someone will post soon. The walk is meant to represent the walk to Al-Mawasi. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. In the south of Gaza, which is where Gazans are being told to evacuate to. The walk's going to be roughly 14 miles, folks. That's more than half a marathon. So be prepared for that. Wear your New Balances. Wear your Hokas. And check the CD7 Watermelon on Instagram for more info. So that's actually better. You can check the subreddit, but if you want like the most up-to-date information, check the CD7 Watermelon on Instagram. So what is this? CCCSEA?
Colorado Springs Education Association.
Okay. They are doing a teacher strike on the 8th. So that is in Colorado Springs. It's not in Denver, but we support our comrades down in the Springs. That's a rough place to be a leftist. It's a rough place to advocate for progressive causes, but those are the places that we need it most. So definitely support them. I don't have more information here about what the details are. But yeah.
No, yeah, we support it.
We support it.
We support teachers. We support teachers striking. I struggle to imagine a scenario where I wouldn't support that.
Seriously, uncritical support to teachers. Truly our nation's heroes. And then, so coming up the following week, 5051 is doing their No Kings 2.0, No Kings Part 2 Electric Boogaloo. That is on the 18th. I'm not sure what the details are. I think it's at the Capitol again.
Yeah, I think so.
Probably it's at the Capitol. It's going to be probably your usual 5051 permitted protest. This is they've announced it pretty far in advance, so hopefully this will be a big one. It's been a while since they've had one, and this is a nationwide protest. It's going to be in a ton of different cities. So if the big permitted protests are your jam, definitely keep an eye on the subreddit for that. They will be posting heavily about that. But yeah, that's on the 18th. And then if you are in the Denver protest community, or you want to be, we're going to have a little Halloween karaoke party on the 18th at 9 p.m. Costume optional, but highly encouraged. And that is at 9 at the, where's it at, AJ?
Locales is the name of the bar. It's on 11th and Ogden.
Across from the, used to be, is it a Whole Foods now?
It is a Whole Foods.
Yeah, across from the Whole Foods in the Capitol Whole Foods. So, yeah, come join us if you want to sing karaoke and wear a costume. That would be really fun. And I think that about wraps it up.
Nice. All right. Good episode, folks. We'll have our interview with Claire and Andrew from DSA released at some point in relationship to this episode, either before or after. Probably after.
Yeah,
after.
But that was a really good interview. So we look forward to sharing that with you.
It was a really good one. So that, be on the lookout for that. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave comments, join the Discord, join the subreddit, rate us 5 stars, or honestly rate us anything.
No. Rate us 5 stars. If you have complaints, you can call the tip line and yell at us. I forget the tip line number. God damn it. This is fucking unprepared as shit. Okay, hit the tip line if you want to, with all of your complaints and your personal grievances. It's 970-716-1702. And also if you have a tip, like that you know that this Mike Johnston, is it a pattern with the donuts and not bringing enough donuts for everybody? We would like to hear about it. Or any other hot goss, or wild conspiracy theories that you may have related to Denver or beyond, please do hit the tip line for that. And and go to denverprotest.com to follow us on all of the places, and like tell all of your friends and family about the show. Yes,
definitely do that.
Okay.
Yes, love it. All right, everyone have a great week. See you guys out there.
See ya. Bye.
Bye-bye.